I'm actually looking forward to when it's over to actually train with her. You get what I'm saying? Because right now she's just out there running around and getting in shape that way, but we're not actually training. You get what I'm saying? And it's been a few times where we run around the neighborhood even after her practice, and yeah, she don't be wanting to do it. But then at the next track meet, she got a new good a new best time. You get what I'm saying? And
Right, right.
new record,
Personal record.
yeah,
Yeah.
new personal record. And so that goes to your thing of instilling different things in there. Now she's learning that once you put the work in, there's results out of that, and she's seeing it firsthand. Because I'm like, trust me, man. Like, come on, let's do it. You just don't do the bare minimum. Like when you practice and go home and lay down, after practice, let's go home and do some more laps. I said, I know it's gonna hurt, but trust me, it's gonna help you. And so just to see that pureness in her, to see that, oh, it is helping at the track meet. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Daddy.
This is For Fathers, a podcast for fathers to uplift and encourage each other, because we are the forefathers of the next generation. This is episode 96, and my boy, man, Big Dillon Smith is back on the pod. First time y'all seeing his face. He's been on a couple times, but man, thanks for coming back on.
For sure, man. For sure. Anything for you, man. Like being there when you was first starting and seeing where you is now, man. And I'm still tuned in like I was back then, dog. So of
Oh
course.
yeah, you definitely are, bro. Like you gotta be number one fan. Like, because I remember even when I first started, you was telling me like, "Hey, man, this is so beneficial." You was loving it, and it encouraged you a lot. And you actually one of the main reasons I kept going, because at first, you get like 2 views,
Yeah.
4 views. It was like,
Yeah.
should I
Yeah.
keep going? But I started and everything, so that was my other motivation as well. But I really, really appreciate you, man. You just talked to me the other day or about 2 weeks ago. You told me you still a child. I said, dang, bro, this is my guy. So I appreciate the support, man. It's a blessing.
For sure, man. For sure. Because in those because we're using a different space starting on,
Woo.
and them conversations I just remember. And I wasn't the only one to tell you the same thing. It was just like, keep believing that things would change. You get what I'm saying? And I know back then it probably just just sounded like whatever. But here we are now, and things change for you. You get what I'm saying? And you get what I'm saying?
A
And
whole 180, bro. Like, even the way she even act, bro. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Wow.
like, dang, you a whole new person. And I'm blessed, bro. Like, thank you so much, God. Thank you. I was praying. I was praying hard.
Yeah, yeah, man.
But
It's great.
I
It's good to
mean,
see.
180, man. 180.
Definitely good to
It's
see, man.
yeah. And did I tell you that I found out that her sister's mine too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of the hoop sessions uh with Chris, and I think that you had just found out, and then I think you just told me right when it was still fresh, and yeah, it's crazy, man.
What? And it's a little tough sometimes, man, because she would
Yeah.
even ask me. She asked me the other day because she's here for the summer. Both of them are here
Okay.
for the summer right now. They're at my parents' house, but she was like, "But you used to see me all the time. Like, why didn't you even get me?" I was like, "Dang." I
It,
was hoping that she wouldn't even
remember
wouldn't
that.
even comprehend that, but she asked me a couple of times. She like, "You used to see me. Like, why you just now getting me?" Essentially, you know
And,
what I mean? But
and
I didn't know.
yeah, and what's crazy is I know if that would have happened to me, that would be playing back in my mind, like all those times where I just pick up yours, quote unquote. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying, and go about your day. Whole time that's your seed as well, dog. You don't even know.
Yeah. Nah,
I
it
be playing that back.
yeah, it hurts, bro. Like it do. I think about that stuff, man. It almost bring you to tears for real.
Yeah.
And it's just like because you know, bro, you want to be a father. Like you're a father and you want to be a father.
Yep.
And I know you've been having yours full time for how long now?
It's well, I like to say it's unofficially full time because if you ask them, they got a whole different story in their mind. You know what I'm saying? But I say really, man, through COVID, I say 2019, 2020 is when I really started like really buckling down and having her a lot, you know, and so and I just naturally have gotten to a place where I accept it. Because like I was telling you back then, I'd rather it be me, the one that's around the most.
Yeah, that
anyway,
influence.
so it is tough sometimes, but I know there is people in tougher situations, like but not having that other half at all. You feel what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, it's been about 4.5 years now.
Yeah, you definitely was somebody I looked up to, like, damn, that man got his kid every day. I was loving it, man. I was rooting you on. But
Yeah.
so y'all can go listen back to the other episodes. But so now 5 years later, man, is anything new? Is it easier? Is it, she's getting older now? Like, how old is she now?
She's 8. She'll be 9 in August.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
So is there anything you learn, any new lessons or
um. Well, I will say, and I don't know if we were gonna get to this anyway, but now she's the big sister now. So she has two twin sisters or from her mom's side as of March. And
mm-hmm.
so that's the most recent thing. And so she's kind of like navigating from being the only child 8 years of her life to not being the only child now. You get what I'm saying? So naturally, as you would imagine, she's with me even more now. you know. So
Yeah.
so so now I'm starting to realize, like, just naturally, because she is my only one, now we're becoming closer, in my opinion. You know, like uh because she just naturally is not going to get that attention that I can give her now. So here we are entering this space where when she with me, things kind of tend to go her way, as opposed when she go back to her mom house and now it's three of y'all, and so it's just a little different. But I can say over the years of what I've learned is just that uh I just try to stay connected with her, because I always play on my mind that she won't be little forever, and
Right.
and I just be having a hard time with living and knowing that she's learning at a way faster rate than we did. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? All these kids are,
This is access, bro.
and it's access, and it's like, man, I just want to keep it so old school, but it's like I can't. You know, I can't. It's tough, because you gotta kind of let them see for themselves. You get what I'm saying? And with everything was that's social media and music. Like now, it's like I listen to these female rappers, and it's like
That's horrible.
I wasn't listening to this growing up. Like I knew the Foxy Browns and the Lil Kims of the world, but it was like, was the radio really playing these type of lyrics all day, every day? I don't think so.
Right.
You know,
And they be explicit. I be like, whoa. I,
uh,
I can't believe it sometimes.
I can't either, and it's just like I wasn't even hearing this at 8 and 9.
Yeah.
I
For
mean,
real though.
and so obviously we heard it when we eventually heard it, but it was like they hearing it so much earlier, And so it kind of forces us to have those conversations earlier than we want to. You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, as a parent, you learn that your kid is influenced more so by who they hang around with on a daily, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jacob and Julie may be learning cuss words at 5, 6 years old, and here they bringing it to my kid. You know what I'm saying? And she thinking that's regular because their household is doing that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so she asked me a lot about why can't I do certain things. And it's just like, well, I always flip it around to her like, well, guess what? There's certain things that you can do that they can't do. You get what I'm saying? That's just how
Right.
life works. You know,
Right.
everybody's the same. So yeah, man, I'm learning, still learning a lot, for sure, and I'm up for it, man. I'm up
Oh
for it.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a challenge, man. So, what are some of the things that you implemented? As I say, for me, for example, my oldest has a phone because she's with me and it's
Mhm.
contact her mom is easier, so we have to go through me no more. So she just goes directly to her mom and stuff like that. So she met a friend and they want to exchange numbers, so I let them. So she has somebody to talk to and stuff like that. But I say, hey, look, you can't call before 12 and you can't call after 6. Like
Mhm.
you don't need to be on the phone all night, and you don't need to be calling nobody early in the morning. You know what kind of household they got, what they be doing, stuff like that.
Right.
And then those are some of the boundaries I try to put in. Then when they're always watching stuff, they're always scrolling through YouTube shorts or whatever, or because they don't have TikTok, so YouTube shorts.
Okay.
And I just kind of peek over their shoulder to see what they're talking about, because you never know what's going to come across that daggone screen.
Yeah,
So,
you know,
what are some of the things that you put in? Because you said that she can't do some of the things that other kids do. So, what are some of the things that you put in?
I will say the TikTok thing. I held off for that as long as I could, man, and really for as long as I could. And so it got to a point to where her mom used to let her do that at a younger age, and when she come
Mm-hmm.
back with me, I didn't. So
Mm-hmm.
I was fighting that battle, and then all of a sudden I just kind of gave in. But I tried to monitor it and filter it. But at the end of the day, like you said, some stuff gonna come across, especially if it's like a trending topic or whatever. Stuff is still gonna come across. But just some things that I try to implement is just her realizing that school is very important. You know what I'm saying? And that uh, basically to handle the more important things first before the quote unquote fun. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I try to be open with her and let her still be a kid, And so, but one thing that I try to instill in her is just understanding priorities, and knowing that certain things come first before other things, if that makes sense. And so,
Yeah, there's an order to everything.
yeah, it's an order to everything, and for the most part, man, it's a good kid, dog. I know everybody said the same thing about their kid, but dog, I got a good kid, man.
Yeah.
He's more motivated about school than I ever was, and I gotta, I gotta, I feel like I gotta feed that,
Mm-hmm.
like every kid changes, you know what I'm saying? Every kid is different, especially with school.
Oh yeah.
So, so I just try to keep that balance with her, and just make her realize like certain things come first before all the extra stuff. So she's done a good job with it. And we can only do so much at the end of the day. And,
That's a fact.
and so that's the stressful part about it. But I've learned to understand that you can't stress over the things you can't control, man.
Man, you better learn that. I'm still learning, bro.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. It is tough, but it
Yeah.
happens.
So I
Yeah.
gotta ask, bro, because I know we used to goof around in school. We definitely goofed around. So, and my mom was like, "You need to be more in tune with her academics and stuff." Because my oldest, my youngest, is still she's about to be in pre-K next year, but
Yeah.
she was still in daycare. So you said you got to cultivate her being in school, and you just said like she's more motivated than you ever was. So, like, is it easier for you to like try to sit down and do the homework, or just trying to motivate, or even in the summertime, trying to get them to still do academic stuff. For me, it's hard. I'm like, man, I don't want to do no schoolwork. I don't want to school when I was in school.
Yeah, right.
So do you have a system, or is it like how do you go about that?
Okay, so like, okay, just naturally over the summer, it's harder to get them to do
Oh
school
yeah.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so one thing I always do is anybody can ask. I always try to keep her active. You get what I'm saying? And so I try to limit as much TV time, screen time as I can. You know, so I'm always putting her in different sports or summer camps. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep her busy, just to keep her around other kids. You get what I'm saying? And so it for me, it ain't as tough with the schoolwork because she wants to learn. You get what I'm saying? Like most
Yeah.
of the time, that's half the battle with a kid. Like you got to do two different jobs. You got to get them motivated to want to look at the work, and you got to get them motivated to try to learn it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, she's very, she wants to know things. Inquisitive. She just wants to, because when she was younger. It's so funny. When she was younger, we always used to call her like nosy, like she was always in somebody's business. But it's like as she getting older, she's translating that to just wanting to know stuff now. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's very curious. And she uses that nosiness with like everything now. So like if something don't make sense, she'll ask questions like, so why does such and such, you know what I'm saying? Like he just wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just funny how that kind of evolved. And turning what it is now to her just want to know stuff, asking questions. And so she makes it easier for me in terms of the school stuff. And normally her teachers always, it's consistent. It's consistent every year with the teachers that she have in terms of her personality. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Every teacher kind of says the same thing every year of how she's always comes to school happy. She tries to help others. You know what I'm saying? And it's and it's funny because it seems to me is like she's like the teacher's pet. And back then,
Yeah.
nobody wanted to hang with the teacher's pet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now it's funny hearing that thing. My kid might be that one. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's like dang, but it was a couple of times where I actually went up to the school just to try to see that dynamic, to see if the kids like her and all that. But it's like, they was kicking it with her. So
Hey,
yeah,
that saves you from people getting talked about and stuff, because that's a whole nother animal when you get all the emotions coming in and stuff like that. Especially middle school ain't too far away. I do PE middle school. They all that drama they be having. I was like, man, did we talk like this when we was in middle school? Because that stuff does not matter. The stuff they complaining about does not matter.
Man, it's you see that with sports and just life in general, man. Like maybe the people that's older than us felt the same way, but you can see the different eras in the kids. You get what I'm saying? Just the way how they just process life. Like this younger generation is just, I don't know. I don't get it. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them nothing. It's like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying?
When they can Google for the tip of their fingers, they feel like they can't tell them nothing. Like I can just Google it. Like that's what Google says. Like Google don't know everything. This is experience. I know a lot more. How would you trust me?
Right, man. So it's like you said, because you work in middle school, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you hearing the conversations.
Oh yeah.
And seeing who boyfriend, what boys messing with them 5 girls. You see that stuff.
I was like, man, when we was in middle school, I mean, some people dated and stuff like that, but everybody dates, and they all have a new boyfriend, new girlfriend every 2 weeks. I'm like, yo. Then they be like, oh, I asked some permission so I could date her. Like, but that's a cardinal sin. You can't do that. We never did that. Like, how y'all do that? Are we cool? We cool. Then they beefing the next day, like, oh, she's still talking to him.
Yep.
Like, bro.
Yep. Foolishness.
That's why you don't do it. What's wrong with y'all? But man, I can't tell you how many times I played Hitch, trying to make sure they don't beat each other up.
Yeah. Got to use all your tricks, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. So so
Yeah,
you talked about sports, man, and we was talking off air how she's in track now, right?
yeah. Right
So
now,
how's it being a father of an athlete?
um, so it's great. I say that. Of course, basketball is first on our mind. We talked about that. Like,
Yeah.
eh, of course, you would want them to do the basketball thing, but um, and I did get a taste of it. So a couple years ago, when I was at my old job, I had way more availability, and so my weekends were free. And here in Nightdale, they always got sports going on for kids. You get what I'm saying, at the recreation center.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I just thought about it like, let me see, let me put her in basketball, see what happens. Co-ed basketball, and they was looking for a coach, and so I'm like, I don't know if I want to, do that. These little kids, you know what I'm saying? They traveling every 2 seconds. I'm like, because you can't really coach no little kid. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
you just shepherding sheep, right?
Yeah. It's so I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's just try at it. And so they did a whole little tryouts for all the kids, and it was like a draft. So they had like all the coaches around, and they try to do it by talent. They look at the kids, they try to even it out as possible. But certain teams had two sharpshooters. I don't know how, but just how it goes.
Yeah,
But
you got that friend like, oh, I want to be on that team. I'm assistant coach. You know how.
right, right. And so, but what normally was supposed to happen was everybody at least has one good player. That's how it's supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course, I had Mel on my team, and then I got my best player. I got him as well. And so now I'm not knowing how this team is going to work. And so I just wanted to. I always said when it comes to basketball, I want to be your coach. I don't know if that's wrong to say that, but when it comes to basketball, I feel like I want to be hands on with that. But all this other stuff, I can leave that to people who
Actually know what they do.
actually know what they're doing. So, but with girls, normally they kind of fall in love with the sport thing a little later on in their life, as opposed to boys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's just kind of a natural thing, and so. Because girls always change their mind about stuff, especially with sports when they got to get dirty and stuff. Like it kind of lead that to it and get a little older. And so, but thankfully, I got a little tomboy on my hands, so she don't mind getting it in, with anybody. And so, long story short, we playing the games, and all of a sudden, it's like Mel and my best player are like the only one scoring. All of a sudden, you know, and so that's when it kind of caught to me, like, dog, she might actually be something, you know. And then it got to a point to where after the games, other parents would be like, "Let me guess, the girl must be your daughter," because she was pretty good,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Yeah, she is." And so yeah, that alone just made my heart feel good, dog, to like watch that transition and her like learning in real time. Like, dog, we had to go over out of bounds. She didn't understand out of bounds. She didn't understand like when you get fouled, you got to shoot a free throw. Like all the little things that we always knew because we've been playing basketball for so long. You
Mm-hmm.
realize you really got to start like training her the game of basketball. Like you got to get a ball to the ref so he can give it back to you to inbound the ball. Like all those little things she had to learn. You get what I'm saying? And so,
Mm-hmm.
so I fell in love with it, man. And then I found myself loving to coach these kids, man. And it was still pure with it. It's just like they was want to have fun, run around, and then when one make a shot, all of them celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff is heartwarming. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah. So to answer your question, man, it feels great to have someone my kid in athletics. You know what I'm saying? And this track thing is a whole new thing for me because I never done track in my life.
Right.
And so the only track I ever did was conditioning. On our basketball teams we was on, we always go to the track in preseason conditioning.
Uh-huh.
That was all I knew. And so I threw her in it because, me and her mom both was in sports, and her mom was in track as well, and so we figured she must got something in her.
Gotta be something. Gotta be something.
Yeah. And so she definitely, it's tough. And I always was told, like, track is kind of like one of the most mentally toughest sports, because you're literally doing nothing but running. You know what I'm saying? Like, from the training to the track meets, you're just running, and you got to have a mental toughness to, like, keep going. Like, and especially for a kid, like, what's the motivation to just run all the time
Right.
while you're tired, especially. And so this is actually her first year, man, and she actually got in shape over these few months, and she's headed to nationals at the end of the month, man, which is a big deal.
That's a big deal. That's hype. That's hype.
Yeah,
Congrats.
dog.
Congrats. Where you got to go to? Where you traveling to?
It's at A&T, man, in Greensboro.
Oh, word. That's
So,
dope.
yeah, man, it couldn't be no
That's-
better, man. I don't want to go to Florida.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, them bills pile up when you got to do that.
Yeah. She found her event. She's the best at the 400 meter, but ironically, she hates it because it's a whole lap around, so she'd be dead tired at the end. But she just so happened to be that's her best event. You know what I'm saying? And so with track, every parent wants their kid to be the next 100 and 200 star.
Right.
That's just natural. Obviously, because that's the most popular thing when it comes to the
Mhm.
Olympics and stuff. Everybody pays attention to the 100 and 200. And so I'm not counting her out yet of that sprinter stuff, because she got speed to her, but it's just like she's just still learning the science of track, like when to speed up and when to slow down around the corner. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's real game plan to this track stuff that she's still learning. So, I mean, I love it, man. I'm learning so much about it. And I'm actually looking forward to when it's over to actually train with her. You get what I'm saying? Because right now she's just out there running around and getting in shape that way, but we're not actually training. You get what I'm saying? And it's been a few times where we run around the neighborhood even after her practice, and yeah, she don't be wanting to do it. But then at the next track meet, she got a new best time. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Right.
new record.
Personal record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
new personal record. And so that goes to your thing of instilling different things in there. So now she's learning that once you put the work in, there's results out of that, and she's seeing it firsthand. Because I'm like, trust me, man. Like, come on, let's do it. You just don't do the bare minimum. Like, when you practice and go home and lay down, after practice, let's go home and do some more laps. I said, I know it's gonna hurt, but trust me, it's gonna help you. And so, just to see that pureness in her, to see that, oh, it is helping at the track meet. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I used to always see you running around up and down Leesville Road, you get what I'm saying? That helps you in the game. You have more energy than anybody. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to see that, and kids learn that in real time, man. It's nothing better than that, dog.
Development, man, and growth is awesome to see.
Yep.
And what better way to do it than sports? Like I swear, I tell everybody, like, you have all these different things that are good at, and I ain't saying you got to go to college, but if you play a sport as a kid, man, it's going to help you tremendously.
Yep.
Just build you up, and even especially like basketball, when you get down by 20, then you come back and win the game. That's perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you said, you going home and keep working. That's the hard work. That's work ethic. That's that's going to get it. And the fact that she's grasping it and catching hold, I know that's the best part right there. Even if you never go anywhere, it's like the fact that you know that, and I help teach you that. That's the best part right there.
Yep. So you just got to apply that. I'm telling her this the same way you seeing the development in your times from the extra work. That's how life goes. Like, for anything, like you want to do better in school, you study more. You do more than just what's given to you, you get more out of it. And so yeah, she's learning it, dog, and like you said, what better way than through sports? And so I just hope that she can take this in other avenues in life. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's probably my favorite. Definitely my favorite part about teaching, but definitely one of my favorites about being a parent is teaching them something and then watching them grasp it and grow into it,
Mm-hmm.
and take it for themselves and mold it. Definitely as a teacher, because I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Just try to impart just like the success and growth, and try to be a type of quote unquote father figure. Not trying to replace anybody, but a lot of them don't have that. So
Right.
just being a loving man, a black man, a loving man that is there for you, that's going to encourage you, that's going to show you what you can do, show you that I'm not like everybody else. And you don't have to be like everybody else. You could be your own person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
preaching the word to them, talking about the gospel all the time. Like they don't ever catch me cussing, none of that stuff. Because I left that stuff behind back a couple
Yeah.
of years ago. So
Yeah.
this is who I am, and
Yep.
I stay strong in that. And I really enjoy that part. Is
Yeah.
really watching them grow and grasp concepts that you try to teach them. When you try to break it down, like you said, when you're teaching the kids, you got to break it down so much. It's like
Mm-hmm.
almost to like I guess to the level of a kid, literally. Like you
Yep.
really got to break it down. So
Yep.
and when you can do that, that's when you really understand. Understand life, understand this concept you're trying to break down. I think it was one of those, I don't know, somebody said that if you can't explain it to a third grader, you don't really know it.
Mm. You got to
So
break it down to that extent, right?
yeah, if you can't break it down like that, then you don't really know it. That goes with anything. That goes for us, even in our own. If I'm trying to explain to you how to podcast, or you trying to explain to me how to do something that you love, or basketball, if you will. If
Mm-hmm.
you can't break it down that way, then you don't really know it. That's
Right.
when you probably should go study it a little bit more.
Yeah. That's true. Because you're gonna get challenged in your teaching. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
always gonna be somebody who don't believe what you're saying, and why should I listen to you at the end of the day? You get what I'm saying? And,
Right.
and sometimes it comes down to that. And if you're, like you said, if you're studied and if you know how to break it down, what can they say at that point? You get what I'm saying? Because now it makes sense to them. Like, oh, okay. And so yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, and you got to relate too. A lot of people don't relate. I know you definitely relate with Mel on a level, like you try to relate to her and her culture right now,
Yeah.
and try to explain things that way. And when you could do that, man, they can really grasp it. When you try to start talking about stuff back in the 90s, they ain't gonna understand. They don't even know what daggone a payphone is.
I know.
I see, the phone booth is. High school is like, nah. I'm like, dang, bro. Y'all don't know the simple stuff a lot. That junk is hilarious.
They
Because
don't have house phones. People don't have house phones no more.
I know they don't know nothing about that. They
Like,
don't know nothing about that.
dude, there's been times where I was on the phone and my mom would pick up the phone in the house and like embarrass me to get off the phone at night. You get what I'm saying? Like the person who was on the phone heard that as well. Like these kids don't know nothing about that.
Don't know nothing about that. I swear, bro. They don't know nothing about that. I mean, I remember the days.
Yep.
You pick up the phone to go call somebody on the phone. Oh, they got the phone. You gotta wait.
Gotta wait. Yeah,
Man, that junk's hilarious.
So yeah. So for you, is it going to take for you to just throw your oldest into the sports, or is to see if that's something that she want to do, or like how are you like playing that out?
She's showing a lot of interest in soccer. Just because I'm still trying to figure out the summers. I really had the bread to put her in this summer. It's the longest summer she's been here.
Yeah.
But a lot of other times, the leagues that are going on, she's only there for like 3 weeks, and then she goes back because she's only here for like 6. So I guess what I could do and what I probably should do, because she's showing interest in soccer, she loves Messi, I think, or Ronaldo. One of the Messi Ronaldo guys.
Top 2 guys. At the top.
Yeah. She talks about soccer. So what I probably should do is talk to her mom. It's like, hey, let's figure out something where we can put her in some soccer to see what she wants. But she likes to run around and play, but she like to be on that phone. She like to be on that phone. She like to be chilling. So When she's with her sisters and stuff, she kind of puts it down and plays. So I wouldn't say she's a tomboy. I think my youngest two, my middle child, my youngest, are more outgoing, more athletic.
Yeah.
She's more of a pretty girl. She more want to be with the older kids and be seen by God. I said, man, one time I yoked her up. Like, why you feel the need to be around boy? Why you feel the need to try to be around older kids? That's a journey, bro. So
yeah. Yep. I know exactly what you're saying. Yep.
it's like, man, you were too young to be thinking about that, but they see it already. Like
That's what I'm
on
saying.
social media, they see it.
Yep.
Already see it, so they already exposed that. And when we was in daggone, she's in second grade. I wasn't thinking nothing but basketball. I was
Right.
like, all I cared about was playing basketball.
Yep. That wasn't even like I knew like I have a crush or two, but it was like I never let that like be more heavy than sports for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Especially that
never.
early. That
Never, bro. It was nothing more important than going home and playing basketball.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot more video games back then. N64 was my thing. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah. So I gotta coordinate with her mom to figure that out. So I could definitely do a better job of that. But she says she likes soccer, but she don't really show too much interest instead of just like playing at the playground. Now, my youngest, the one that lives with me now, she was doing gymnastics for a while. And she was really enjoying that. So I'm gonna get her back into that. She's the one that really shows athleticism that she's really interested. So I'm gonna work on that this year, getting her back in gymnastics. But I started coaching, assistant coach at varsity. So once I get married in December, it's gonna be a lot easier moving around and stuff. So kind of wait for that to happen.
Varsity where?
I'm at South Granville, bro.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's at Webb, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We played them. And they were there. They were the powerhouse.
Oh yeah, they still are. We still are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my first full year. I helped out a little bit last year. I was a girls coach for the middle school.
Okay.
You talking about breaking it down? Like they didn't know nothing.
Because that goes to what I said about with girls. A little later on in life, they stick with stuff, man. Especially with sports, it's like why would they fall in love that early unless they really got the gift? Of course, you got those certain prodigies, and girls that just grow up skilled like that. But yeah, most of the time they're late bloomers, man. And so
yeah, that's a fact. Real late because they ain't know nothing about the game. I was like, bruh, this is the half court line. This is the free throw line. I was like, yeah. One girl told me, she said, "Yeah, I'm only trying out because my friend is here."
oh, man,
and I only had 12 come try out, so I had to see.
That's a team. That's a
team. I just kept everybody.
That's a team for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'd definitely be diving into that when as just being by yourself is not easy. But you've been doing a lot longer, but I just gotta figure it out. You're doing a lot better job than me being by yourself. So I just gotta get right.
Yeah, I just my mom helps me out extremely a lot. I think when I talked to you in the earlier episodes, my mom wasn't back in North Carolina yet.
Right.
And so she actually moved back down here, when I think because she wanted to be around her granddaughter, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I did need the help,
Oh yeah.
I was running myself dry, dog, like because I'm not from North Carolina, so my family is extended to the other side. And so a lot of the times where if I needed a break, she was going to her great grandmother's house on her mom's side. It wasn't like my support system was strong. You feel what I'm saying? And so I'll be driving back and from and picking her up after work, dropping her back off in the mornings. Like it was.
Oh, you was trooping.
It was tough, man. It was definitely tough. And so, I knew my mom knew I was going to do that. And so it just naturally happened to where she came back down here. And so because my boy Jamez, I was using his family. His mom is I call her like my my little adopted mom.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely helped me out as well. They whole family, Jamez, Braille, all of them helped me out
Oh
at
yeah,
that
I'm
time.
already knowing that's family right there.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the first person you really got close with when you came down to North Carolina, ain't it?
Yeah, that was yeah, for sure. I can't even tell you when, but I know it was when basketball season came around, and because he's quiet, and
Oh
so
yeah.
and so I don't know what caused us to start talking. You know, what I'm saying maybe because I was new, he was new to school as well that same year, and that might have been it. Yeah, he was new to the school, and so we both in this new area, and so I think we just clicked, dog, and so yeah, that was the first one that that I got real cool with, man, for sure. He's still here.
Yeah, you need friends like that, man.
Yep.
Definitely to help, and it says that it takes a community to raise a kid and raise a family anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that you had that community.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to those, even though during those times when you was struggling, when you was just hustling and busting, trying to figure it out, like what would you say to encourage others that don't feel like they had that support system? I guess what helped you in that, like before you had everybody reach out to? Because I'm sure it was a time period. It was like you just doing it yourself. You just figuring it out
Yeah.
before you started reaching out.
Yeah. Well, what I say to that person going through it is just to realize like you're needed, you know what I'm saying? And to not let it overtake you to the point of you not doing it. Because that in my opinion, that does more harm to the child. You get what I'm saying? When you just want to give up. And because and the mind frame I got into was if I don't do it, who will? You know,
Right.
and maybe that's sometimes that may be the wrong way to look at things because it's like, well, no, you should be able to depend on the people who is there, who are supposed to help, but then again, I'm a real stubborn guy, and I don't like to have to depend on other people, and I may or may not even get the result, so I do that, I just tend to take matters in my own hands and just and live with it. And so what also helps is when you're doing that, uh it's being noticed from the outside people. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I used to get that a lot. People always saying, "Wow, you do so much and you do that and da. And I didn't do that for people to say that. I did it because I felt like I needed to. But those words that I was hearing from other people help encourage me. You get what I'm saying? And so those type of things helped me going, kept me going, and I didn't let it overtake me. And so that's what I would kind of say, like, just know it's sometimes it's necessary. Life is peaks and valleys, and you're up and you're down. And so there was a certain point, especially through COVID, where I was kind of down because I was still working through COVID, and then I still had to be a father through COVID, and it was just like it got tough sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so yeah, so the words of others definitely helped me, and so whenever I try to ask for help, I would, and thankfully most of the time people came through for me when I did need that help. So yeah, that's kind of what I can share about that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds like you surround yourself with good people too, though. A
Yeah,
lot of people uh, are not cognizant who they surrounding themselves with.
yeah.
They ignore the red flags, whether it be a relationship like girlfriend boyfriend or just even a friendship relationship, and you
Mm-hmm.
ignore that. But you make sure that you surrounded yourself and your kid with good people, and that's kind of hard now. Not necessarily like just finding bad people, but make sure your kid is surrounded by good people because you don't know all the time what their parent, like the other kid that they're trying to be with, parents teach them at home.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
me deep in the faith and teaching them all these biblical principles and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you could chill with her, but let me meet the dad first. Let me meet the mom first, or let me meet her. And I understand why my parents felt that way. Because before I was like, why you gotta meet the kid? I'm going with the kid. Why you meet the parent first for?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what they're teaching them, or what they're not teaching them,
Right.
or what they're allowing.
Yep.
So I really see that now. Just as a parent, now it's like, wow, you really gotta be careful on what you let your kids be exposed to, because they really might come back a whole different person. Like, dang, like what happened? Who taught you that? That wasn't me.
Yeah. It even happened when she, like, it was a love-hate thing with me when she would be gone for like more than 3-4 days, because it was like when she came back, I had to like reprogram her. Not saying I control her, but it was just like
Yeah.
the way I do things, the way I live, and my rules. It was just like, she kind of forgot about it when she was gone, obviously, because my household is different than somebody else's household, to your point. You know what I'm saying? And so it used to be like, yeah, it used to feel good to have a couple of days off, but then it was like, man, I just rather you stayed if I gotta reprogram you. Like, why are you talking back? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like,
Yeah.
it was definitely a process, man. And so, but like I said, breaks are necessary. And like you said, at some point, they do have to see the world. They do have to step out of the box so they can make their decisions. But my whole thing always has been, because I was instilled like that, to know, and you were too, because we talked about this. Like, you knew better. You just chose to do whatever you wanted to do. You
That's
know?
a fact.
And so, at the end of the day, I'm a product of that too, and she's going to be a product of that as well. And so, that's all you can ask for, is if they got the mind of it, because a lot of kids who turn into adults didn't have that mind, so they was just so like gun ho on everything. You know what I'm saying? And they learned after the fact, like, oh,
Right.
dang, you know what I'm saying? And so I just try to, like you said, because the way we teach our kids is kind of how we were brought up. That's just how it goes. And
Yeah.
so the ugly and the beauty of that is finding someone who is almost like-minded if you're gonna have a kid with someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say it. I struck out with my kid, in terms of being like-minded with the mom. I struck out, you get what I'm saying? And that's one thing that bothers me still to this day, is like, I always prided myself on making great decisions. And then it was like one of my, not so great decisions is gonna stick with me as long as Mel is here. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I have to live with that, live with knowing that, me and the mom weren't necessarily, you know,
Compatible, if you will.
compatible, right? And now you gotta have a kid through that, and so it's tough. And but like you said, you just gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, it sucks for the kid, man, because my
Yeah,
youngest, she hates when she's away from her mom. She hates when she's away from her dad. She's wants everybody to be there. And it's
yeah,
like we really putting our kids through I don't know if I should say trauma, but it just uh not good circumstances a lot of times when we have to do that. When they got to go, it's unfair to the kid to have one rules at one house and different rules at another house.
yep,
I mean, they're still young. They still trying to figure it out. And I feel you, bro. Like, I just like, damn, I really wish I would have really thought,
yep.
because me, I got two baby, and I got two different moms. I was out there, I mean, I was doing my thing. It didn't really matter. Like, I'm young. I didn't care. Like, shoot, I'll be all right. But he's like, when you really think about it, you look back and you get older, he's starting to mature. It's like, wow, that's not okay. Like, you do nothing but being a detriment to your own kid. And like you said, you think about that, and like you have to live with that.
Yep, yep. Um, and now, Mel is at this stage where she kind of used to avoid questions about us in terms of her parents. She used to avoid that, and now, like you said, it's unfair to the kid for them to grow up in the broken house type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's life. And so what I'm starting to notice is she's hanging on to my every word when it comes to the answers about me and her mom. Because when we broke up, Mel was like 2. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So she's seen us apart way longer than she's seen us together. And so and there used to be times where we wouldn't be even in the same room for a long stretch of time. And then once we are in the same room, you can see Mel like genuinely in her face, you can see her process like, oh, this don't even happen a lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
mommy and daddy's both here. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's so unfortunate because I would love it to be to a point to where we can be cool and be okay with just being in the same building. But it's just like you said, it's a lot of unresolved issues with with the relationship and just the whole difference of how we feel like life should go. And that comes with compatibility because we weren't compatible. And so we both think different things strongly. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's tough. You get what I'm saying? So it's tough. And so I've always tried to just avoid it, which ain't right. But I try to, because there were times where we would argue and fight in front of the kid, and that didn't happen until we were broken up, you know.
Right.
And so like you said, it's unfair, but she's at this space now where she'll ask us about certain things. And so I always try to keep it light because, I've never said any bad things about her mom to her, although I know she's heard them say things about me, but I always try to keep my standard, the standard of
Mm-hmm.
when she grows up, she'll always know, like, well, dad never really disrespected them. I know they don't really see eye to eye, but he didn't ever really speak out and say crazy things. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, so now, when she asks me certain things, I kind of tell her about the good times that we had, like, it's a funny story because me and her mom went to college together. So when we was in college, we were playing around or something. And her mom is not the biggest girl, like she kind of skinny. And so she kind of pushed me one time. We were playing. I like fell into these tables and chairs, like fell on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like as big as I am, I fell, dog. And it ain't like I tried not to fall, like I really fell. So that was a funny story. Like, and she always brings that up, like, I'm gonna push you like my mama did. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, yeah.
she tries to hang on. She's trying to find the when were y'all good? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She tries to hang on to those type of things. And so yeah, it is tough. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, all we can do is the best that we can do.
Mhm.
That's why it's important to lay down that foundation and holding that standard, like you said. It's very, very important because you don't want her to ever go back. It's like, well, daddy didn't, they might have said something, but daddy did this. You don't want ever
Mhm.
or her to ever say anything negative about you in that light.
Right.
So that's very, very important. So I definitely commend you for that. I don't know if I can say the same. I think I can, but I'm sure I was angry for a long time. So I'm
Yeah.
sure I said something I was supposed to say.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I mean, yeah, because and people handle things the way that they handle them, and but like I said, and I just remember, like, I didn't go through what you went through, and you know what I'm saying. Like,
mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I was able to see mine. I was able to be around mine. My mind didn't even go to the spaces that yours went. So who knows? I probably would have done the same thing you did if I
Yeah,
was in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, like, and that was tough, dog. And you all the way in North Carolina, and there were, I remember there was some days you said you would drive all the way over there just to not bring her back, dog.
bro. What?
What?
Bro, what? The days, boy. Some days, boy. There was some days.
Yeah, yeah,
Ah.
yeah, man. But it's good to see that you found love, you found a situation, and like you see, you said earlier, you're gonna get married in December, man, and that's fire, dog. You know,
Yeah.
that's fire.
Yeah, I hope the same for you soon, man. I hope that come around for you, man, because I know the temptations when you single and the loneliness when you single, especially when just you and a kid. You just feel like that's your only friend sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're a parent and you gotta do so much, you ain't gonna see nobody else. So
But
I
here's
just
the
hope the
kicker.
same for you.
The kicker is because Mel is so used to that. Whenever I do want to step out or like hang out, you know what I'm saying? She makes a huge deal. You get what I'm saying? Because she's so used to
Y'all too.
me being there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and so I had to remind her, like, Mel, like sometimes I can step out and go hang with my friends like you hang with your friends all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like I just try to like make it fair, even though it ain't
Yeah.
fair to a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, man, it's funny. It's real funny. You know what I'm saying? How she kind of just expects me to always be around, no matter it's 10 o'clock. Like, you know, it's like March Man. You know, I like to go out, eat wings and watch the games and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just simple stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, she feels some type of way about it. But it all goes back to what I said earlier. Like, there's gonna be a day where she ain't gonna be stunting me. She's gonna be hanging with
Right.
her friends, and I'm gonna be
Uh-huh.
like, "Yo, why don't you come to the crib?" You know what I'm saying?
Like, I see you next weekend.
Yeah, man. So I try to stay in the moment, man, because it's not gonna last forever. And you know, I try to keep her pure. You know, try to keep her pure in the moment. And because, like I said, once you get to that age of 12, 13, and
Yeah,
yeah,
middle school it changes things.
yeah, yep, yes, sir.
That's awesome, man. Well, like I said, always, bro, I appreciate you, man. This is episode 96. Hope everybody stay blessed.